Hey guys, Mike for SimRacing604, and today I'm going to be driving 4 versions of the 992 Porsche 911 GT3 R across my 4 favorite racing sims to see how they stack up. This comparison was inspired by the recent release of the 992 GT3 into Le Mans Ultimate's LMGT3 class. That car is fantastic, and it got me wondering if it's the best way to experience one of the most popular race cars in the world from the comfort of your home. So first I'm going to drive each of the cars, then I'll give my opinion on what makes each great and share my thoughts on which is best. Let's go. Alright, so first up, the ProTech P92 from Race Sim Studio. And if you saw my review of this not that long ago, I guess late 2024, you know I love this car. I think Race Sim Studio always delivers, but particularly in terms of GT3 cars, I don't think Race Sim Studio can really be beat. Whoa! And a little bit of life here until we get these tires warmed up, and there will still be life, don't get me wrong, but a little bit of extra life, shall we call it. So I'm going to take it nice and easy here. Car tends to understeer slightly until those tires get up to temp. The back end stays reasonably planted. So much weight over those rear tires. And so in terms of overall sort of impressions, drivability of the car, I mean, it's phenomenal. It really is. The sounds, the interior detailing, the customization options, there's a lot to love about this ProTech P92. And I'm using a third-party skin here. Comes with a number of skins by default, but if you look on Overtake, you can find some really great real-world skins for this car. It also has the advantage of being able to drive anywhere, anything you want to do with this car. I mean, Assetto Corsa can usually make it happen. What would this car do at the Goodwood Hill Climb or at Pikes Peak or anything like that? Well, the limit is your imagination, really, here in Assetto Corsa. Alright, so outlap coming to conclusion here, and then we'll do the first of 2 flying laps. Default setup, full fuel, probably be running in traffic at some point, so don't expect any world-beating lap times here. Just trying to get a good overall sense of the car. And you can see no corrections on the wheel there. Lots of exciting physics at play. And still, maybe a little bit cold tires. I went over the curb there and understeered just slightly. Might have been just the car being upset by those curbs. We'll see. In pursuit now of a Mercer. This is one of my all-time favorite mods for AC, based on the Mercedes AMG GT3 2020 or Evo, depending on who you ask. Whoa, coming in hot there, Lanzo. Sorry about that. And then we get around the Lanzo. Now we're in pursuit of the Hyperion, the Mustang. Most recent addition to this GTM field. And evidently I should have turned the AI a little higher here. That's alright. Checking my rear camera there, and that Hyperion is well behind me, so I'm good to go. Got a lot of room to run here. I'm very confident under braking, perhaps a little too confident. One of my few critiques of this car, I would say, is sometimes you get it, but not always. Sense of the back end being heavy and kind of getting a bit unruly under braking. So first lap was a 1:46, and reminder that I'm not going for speed necessarily here. Just trying to get a feel for things and overall impression of the car. And boy, what a car. It's remarkable. It really is. I mean, when you go back and drive the original Kunos GT3s, as much as I love Kunos as a developer, I mean, they're just not on this level. Like, this car just feels so much more alive, so much more thrilling to drive than do any of the stock GT3s. Granted, they're a generation old, and Kunos developed those some 10 years ago, so I'm not, and you know, custom shaders patch plays a major role in why these feel so progressed. But yeah, it's just remarkable how far things have really come with Assetto Corsa, and what a difference from between these Race Sim Studio GT3s and the original GT3s for this title. Oh, just barely managed to get the car under control in time. Ooh, little wide there. Alright, so that's going to do it. Very exciting drive. Love this car. And on to the next. Alright, so next up, the official Porsche. There's no mod here in Assetto Corsa Competizione. So we're driving the 992 Porsche GT3. And this is kind of the OG. I think this was the first to market, if I'm not mistaken. And as you can hear, different tone than the Assetto Corsa car. A little bit more in the mid and high range. Race Sim Studio really brought the bass to Assetto Corsa. This ACC, I mean, they had access to the real world car, of course, for, I'm guessing, a lot of testing and recording and scanning and blah, blah, blah. So one would assume this is a pretty accurate recreation of the real world sounds. But by comparison to the Assetto Corsa mod, a little bit less here through the wheel, but still very, very good. Like these curbs, yeah, nice staccato jump and good rumble there. I was gonna say the staccato jump when I went over the sausage curbs. In terms of the handling, yeah, feels really, really nice. Assetto Corsa Competizione has maybe lost a bit of momentum of late. I think the team at Kunos largely focusing on AC Evo, and we'll see what comes of that. But for now, we have ACC to join this competition. As you can see, a bunch of other cars here that we're going to have to navigate our way through, potentially, assuming all goes well. And we are away for our first of two, or just about away for our first of two flying laps here at Imola. And the scream of those gears, oh, love it, love it. Oh, watch out there, McLaren. Now we're in pursuit of an Audi. You can hear, or probably notice, that traction control slowed me down on that quarter exit there. This should be a blue flag situation for some of these cars. We're in a practice session here. Who knows? But yeah, now in pursuit of this 296. You can see the amazing job that Kunos did here in capturing all the real life details, all the track well, there's a bonus track banner, but track banners and you know, the official cars of the series, not having to hunt down mods and you know, wait for developers to release official versions, as we'll get into with Le Mans Ultimate. And yeah, just does a great job just immersing you in the world of this Porsche 992 GT3. Speaking of, need this 992 in particular to get a move on. He's holding me up here. But yeah, very good impressions here overall. And there, that slidiness under braking is what I love about this Porsche. I mean, sure, is it a challenge? Sure. Yeah, can it catch me out? Of course. But you would expect, with the unique weight bias of this Porsche, that it would be a lot more of a handful than many of the other cars on the grid, and that's what you get here. Let's see if we can improve on our time here. Oh, just barely managed to keep that under control, but the car feels nice at the limit. Really, really nice at the limit. And those sounds, I'm in love with the sounds. It's not just that engine scream, it's also the knocks and pings like that. When you go off track slightly, and the car kind of rattles and everything, all this sound deadening that's not present in these race cars really becomes evident, or the absence of sound deadening is what I should have said. It's just, it makes it so well known here in Assetto Corsa Competizione. They do such a tremendous job with that. And let's see if we can get by these guys for the main straight. Oh, I love it. I outbrake them only by the thinnest of margins. And there we are. Tires coming up to temp now, so we will be down at 146. So pretty similar to what we did in AC. But yeah, absolutely brilliant immersive experience here in Assetto Corsa Competizione. All right, so next up here in AMS2, we've got a long pit road ahead of us, so we can talk a bit more about my impressions of AMS2. Sorry, just gonna fix my POV slightly. There we are. Pretty close to what we were rocking before. Yeah, talk a bit more about the GT3s in AMS2. So, this has widely been one of the more criticized car classes in AMS2. I think the sort of all resistance to AMS2 has certainly decreased in the past year or so, maybe 2 years. I would say beyond version 1.5, people started to sort of understand that this is a really, really great racing simulator, and the GT3s kind of got pulled along with that. It was one of the more critiqued car classes early on. Reason being is we had so many points of reference. Like, if you're talking about some mid-70s Volkswagen or something like that, or maybe that's a bad example, but some of the more obscure classes in AMS2 in terms of mainstream content for sim racing, I mean, yeah, then there's less frame of reference and people can just get on and enjoy AMS2. But here with these GT3s, there's so many points of reference that it was just like, you know, people were not seeing the vision, I guess you might describe it as, Reza had for these GT3s. Too slidey and screeching tires, etc. So yeah, I think it's come a long way since then, to be clear, but I would say it's still, in terms of when you put this head to head with everything I'm driving today, the car does feel kind of yeah, not out of place, but just feels unique. Like, you saw how that back end kicked around, and AMS2 purists will say that's how it's supposed to be, that's how race cars drive, and that could be the case. I don't know, I'm not a Porsche GT3 driver, but yeah, certainly AMS2's GT3 offerings have been among their most critiqued classes, but I will say, the overall presentation, the overall enjoyment of the car, if you either like the physics or can get past, you know, having physics that are sort of inconsistent with a lot of the other cars we have available to us in a sim racing space, there's a lot to love about these cars. With just a few clicks, you can set up amazing races at any of the, boy, how many tracks are there in AMS2 now? Like, official content There's just so much of it. You can set up races there against any class you want, as many classes as you want, time of day, weather. There's so many great ways to enjoy racing in AMS2. So this has a huge, huge advantage, in my opinion at least, in terms of setting up really great, beautiful, fun racing sessions in just a few clicks. I would say Le Mans Ultimate is right there as well. Le Mans Ultimate probably doesn't get enough credit for how easy it is to set up weather transitions and time of day scenarios. But yeah, overall, I think I would give the edge to AMS2 in that regard. The force feedback, by the way, feels really, really good. It's very staccato. I'm using the default profile for force feedback, and it feels very sharp and kind of jerks the wheel from you when you go over sausage curbs or go slightly off track or something like that. But yeah, very, very good, excellent detail of the force feedback in this car. Oh, come on, girl. As the tires come up to temp here, certainly less slidey, but still more wheel slip than one might expect based on experiences in other simulators. But yeah, beautiful graphics in this title and impressive levels of interior detailing, I would say. Maybe not on the level of some other, because you probably can't see it. You might be able to see it a tiny bit in my cockpit camera, but yeah, some of the details off to the side as well done as some of the other titles I'm reviewing today, but still really nicely done. Sounds very good. If I'm not mistaken, these sounds are from SHR Modding, previously known as AC Fan. His work is always phenomenal. However, you kind of run into, unless you, modify the sound profile, you're going to run into a lot of tire squeal, and that's something that's plagued this title for a very long time. Whoa. But yeah, really, really nice experience here in this Porsche GT3 here in AMS2. The drivability, the physics of the car, kind of an outlier in today's comparison, but still very, very good, very enjoyable, and so many ways to enjoy it. And lastly, we have the gorgeous Porsche, the LM GT3 version. Sorry, I'm giddy at driving this car. I love this car, and yeah, Le Mans Ultimate never looked better. So, again, LM GT3 version of this 992 Porsche GT3. And here at Imola to round out the video. So the newest entry on this list. Oh man, those sounds. Woo. And a bit shaky, unsettled under braking there. And watch out there, Aston, because here I come. And that engine note is just gorgeous. Wow, wow. You don't get quite the level of knocks and pings from the chassis that you do in ACC. But there's no denying that that engine note is just beautiful. All right, back to what we're talking about here, and that is kind of the overall impression of driving this. The immersion, the drivability of the car, the physics, the force feedback, all on point, frankly. There's nothing much to complain about here. It is the most slidey of the cars, to be certain. There is, however, tire blankets now optionally available if you want. It falls outside of WEC rules, so it's somewhat of an immersion breaker, but then again, so is pressing escape to return to the pits. So you tell me. But yeah, if you don't really get on with the feel of this GT3 Porsche, you can turn on tire blankets, and it'll just make things that much easier to get a hold of, because this does take 2-3 laps before you're really feeling dialed in. So up to you whether you want to deal with that. Braking into turn 1 here, try to keep it nice and smooth. And yeah, similar to the AC car in a lot of ways. Under braking, I would say it's more like ACC. There's that chatter as you bring the car under control. The braking, you know, again, with the weight bias so rearward, you would expect it to become a little bit unsettled under braking. I think ACC does that really, really well, and they do a nice job with it here in LMU as well. Boy, wow, I thought I cut the track there. I'm saying I cut the track. Woo. Feels good. Feels really good, and you have these official WEC tracks and banners and whatnot to really pull you in to the moment of driving this 992 Porsche. Really, I mean, all 4 of these cars are phenomenal in their own way. Whoa, that corner not phenomenal in any way. Come on. Ferrari, there we are. Come on, girl. We can beat this Ferrari in a sprint, can't we? It's a gorgeous looking game, by the way. Very nice. Interior and exterior details on this car, phenomenal. There we are. We're slow through the first couple of corners, largely by dint of having to tangle with that Ferrari. But we're gaining again, and should be uptime here. And yeah, the tires are starting to come into their own now. Feeling a lot more connected. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful machine. LMU has really delivered with this car. Truly one of the nicest cars in all of sim racing. We're up about 6/10, so it should be good for a second purple sector here. Traction control held me back on that corner exit. But yeah, now that I've got the track to myself, I can really start to focus in on what makes this car special. I really enjoy driving, and the car feels so alive under you. It's just a great sensation to drive this car. Really, really nice. Good immersion, weather, time of day, all on point. So a lot to love here in LMU. Alright, let's get to the summary. Okay, to summarize my thoughts on the 4 versions of the Porsche 992, 911, GT3 R across these titles, I'll start by saying that each is great in its own way. ACC's version drops you into the world of GT3 racing and doesn't miss a detail. RaceSim Studio's excellent ProTech mod allows you to enjoy the car on virtually any circuit in any scenario your mind can dream up. Le Mans Ultimate's Porsche marries the incredible physics Studio 397 can deliver to a simulator that's growing in popularity by the day, and Automobilista 2's GT3 R means you're just a few clicks away from excellent racing through time of day or weather scenarios and outstanding VR. In the end, I'm back to Le Mans Ultimate's version being the best. The car detailing, sounds, the immersive tracks, online and offline racing possibilities, and especially the driving feel are all best in class. ACC and AMS2's Porsches lose out slightly due to the force feedback and overall driving experience and connection to the car, while AC's mod drops in ranking due to the online possibilities being comparatively limited and the offline experience being hampered by an age title absent features like proper flagging and rolling starts. But those are just my opinions, so be sure to let me know your thoughts on what is the best way to experience driving the Porsche 992 911 GT3 R. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.